And it's the right time. 歩き出そう。Yeah, it's the right time. 恐れないで。ほら、あの丘を越えた場所で。
Did you feel any difference recording the movies over the show?
The movies and the show were fairly similar to do because we still did all of our own lines. In the very beginning, for the first and second movie, we were in a big stage. The screen was really big. And when we were recording the show, it was on just a little computer monitor, essentially. So, and later on, all of the movies were the same. Everything was on that. It was like an extended episode in the sense of recording it. But it was pretty cool to be at a microphone in the middle of a big room looking at like a movie screen and recording it. That was very cool. Other than that, we're just in a tiny booth, sometimes, you know, just as big as this on a little stool with your podium and your little screen, and you're just reading along. And so it's in a little booth, your imagination fills the space in a different way than when you are standing in a big room. The screen kind of takes over. So there's pros and cons to both.
How were you approached, or did you find the show?
Well, I've got my first anime from a recommendation from an acting coach. I was working on an audition for a play, and he just happened to get a call that day from someone who was looking for someone who could play a young, like a high girl's voice, like an anime voice. And then I was in that, I got cast in something else, and then I was cast in Slayers because they needed a replacement for Amelia. And I'd never heard of Slayers. So I booked that, and then the company that was producing Slayers got Pokemon, so they asked me to come in and audition. So really, it was just the luck of being in the right place at the right time. Yeah, pretty exciting. Oh is my favorite.
Yes.
And I have to say, I love when it flies across the sky and all the glitters come out after. I'm very simple that way. That's my favorite one. And I think ultimately I don't know that much about it, so it remains my favorite. Because sometimes when you get to know someone too much, it's gone. The glamour is gone. But anyway, that's my favorite. Hi.
Hi there. Can't believe that you were saying from either Ash or just in general.
Yeah, so a lot of the lines, I will be honest, I don't remember that much, but I can't believe how often he had to say, Pikachu, Thunderbolt! Thunderbolt, Pikachu! Pikachu, Thunderbolt! What? Use something else. After a while, I couldn't believe it, you know? Like that was too much for me. Honestly, as a person. But there's, you know, I loved when he would be like, hey, Brocco, you know, weird little things where it's kind of like what we would say in real life. And I love those moments when he would, after a battle, and he's there with Pikachu, hey, buddy, you know, little cute, real moments that I loved that it was so real. And also that, because in our society, boys aren't really allowed to be so gentle or cry so much, which is a shame. I think Ash got to do that he could be so gentle in front of a stadium of people and just take a private moment with his Pikachu. I thought that was really important and wonderful. Okay, does anyone else? Oh, let's see. The first episode, I think we were watching the first episode during a clip of it during the audition, and they wanted the voice to match as closely as possible to the original Japanese voice. And so I got to listen to that. My brother was 10 at the time, and I kind of his voice was somewhat similar, although he wasn't like, pass the butter, you know, like nothing like that. Or I suppose in the beginning, Ash was a little more up here, kind of a little, I was like, he was placed a little bit differently, and that was allowed to change. My brother didn't sound exactly like that, but you know, he was the inspiration behind that as well.
Someone in this row have a question?
While you're there.
Hi. I wanted to know, like, are there any anime that, like, you haven't done voices for, but, like, you really enjoy, like, either recently or in the past?
I'm a big fan of Speed Racer. I love that show. I don't watch a lot of videos or DVDs or things. I have a few TV shows that I watch, but I don't watch a lot of TV because I'm trying to work. So there's not a lot of there's not a lot that I watch if I'm not in it, which sounds bad. But if I'm working on it, I'm involved in it. But other than that, I don't watch a lot of it. It's just simply because I don't have the time, luckily. But there's a lot of things that I really appreciate, and also when I'm at a convention and I see people in costumes, then I become much more aware of what's really going on, and talking to actors who are working on things, I appreciate and get glimpses of what's happening. So I kind of absorb it that way, rather than watching the whole thing.
Just such an attitude, and then all of a sudden at the very end, he decided to like Ash again. But like, did you agree with all of that happening?
Well, I think probably many people in this room who have a sibling could understand that relationship, because sometimes you're just you and your younger brother or sister are suddenly just so ridiculous to be around, and they're throwing things at you, and this lasts for a period of time, and then they're fine again. And I think in a way there's that weird sibling thing going on where Charmander is kind of pushing its own boundaries, and so I don't think, as an actor, I never agreed or disagreed with anything, but you figure out how to deal with it. And I think Ash, he was committed to Charmander, so he had to work with whatever was going on at the time. So.
My mom's the voice of Ash, haha. And they'd be like, oh cool, and then just like go back to playing games. So I tried doing that a few times, and then I got discouraged, and so I stopped. And then like in 9th grade, some new kids came to our school, and I was like in my French class, and I mentioned once, oh yeah, like my mom's the voice of Ash, and this guy was like, what? Oh my god! And he was like, so amazing. And so then I guess he started telling people, and so this like rumor, I guess, spread through the school, like through the high school about like my mom. And so some people, like, I'd be at my locker and this person would come up and be like, Rena, your mom's the voice of Ash, right? And I'd be like, yeah. And they'd turn and be like, see, I told you. And like this other person would be like, ha ha ha. And so that was kind of awkward. And then like we were at an open house, like a college fair, and these boys who were like 1 grade above me, they were following us around. And like leading the posse was the boy who I told in the beginning. And so they were like following us around, and I looked back and was like, oh no, like they want to talk to you. And so we stopped, and they like talked, oh, I love Pokemon, and you know, it was really
Because we live a very invisible life.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is, like, talking to you all is not what our life normally is. And so it's weird to be at school and have people come up to talk about Pokemon.
Yeah, so it's fun. Anyway.
I am the Super Saiyan Son Goku!